Welcome to the regular meeting of the Cape Coral City Council. Today is January 7th, 2026. This meeting now comes to order. Please stand for the invocation and pledge allegiance by Councilmember Donnell.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, just want to say thank you. Thank you for this new year that you've brought us to. We ask your blessings on all of your people, the residents, employees, workers, city council leaders, children. We just need you, Lord, and we thank you. We thank you, and we're claiming this year just to be one of kindness, one that we empathize with each other. And we ask you to always give us wisdom, empathy, and sympathy as we make decisions that impact the lives of others. Thank you. We love you, and we look forward to a great year. All God's children said amen.
Amen.
Please join me for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Gunter,
Here.
Council members Donnell,
Here.
Kaduke,
Here.
Kilrain,
Here.
Lastra,
Here.
Lehman, Long,
Here.
Steinke,
Here.
all present.
Thank you. Just a reminder to everyone who's here today, if you wish to participate in citizens' input later on in the agenda, please remember to fill out a comment card. The city clerk will collect those cards once we get to that part of the agenda. Please stay seated. She'll call you up one by one to the podium, which will be my left, your right. Item 5 is changes to the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda, or do we have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Is there any council discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman, Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell,
Aye.
Gunter,
Aye.
Kaduke,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, item 6 is recognitions and achievements. 6A is presentations for city employees' years of service. Today, I'd like to recognize the following employee for sacrifice and dedication and deep devotion in protecting the city of Cape Coral for a quarter of a century. You have worn the badge with integrity, courage, and unwavering commitment to the department and our community. You led not by title alone, but by example, setting the standard for professionalism, accountability, and respect. Madam City Clerk, please read the recipient's name and years of service, and I would ask that individual to please come forward once I get down below.
Commander Tacoma Burgoyne, Police Department, 25 years of service.
Again, I wanted to thank you for your dedication, citizens of Cape Coral, and everything that you've done over your tenure. We appreciate that, and we honor that, and we wish you well in the future. Chief, you want to say more?
Sure. Tacoma, or Taz, as we call her, working for 25 years from a 911 operator and dispatcher all the way up to commander of the Communications Bureau. She led us through predation, she led us through hurricanes, major events, expansive growth, and she led in a way that was strategic and visionary, but also with the dedication of a small family business. Give her a hand.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to item 7, approval of the minutes. Do we have a motion regarding the minutes from a regular meeting of December 3rd, 2025?
Motion to approve.
Is there any council discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do we have a motion regarding the minutes from the special meeting of December 10th, 2025?
Motion to approve.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And do we have a motion regarding the minutes of the regular meeting of December 10th, 2025?
Motion to approve.
Is there any discussion by council? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to item 8 is business. 8A is the consent agenda. I'll open up the consent agenda for council to pull any items for discussion. If no items are pulled, then I will entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman, Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
Paduk,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, item 8B is appointments to boards and committees. B1 is the Municipal Police Employee Pension Trust Fund Board of Trustees. The Cape Coral Municipal General Pension Board of Trustees selected Paul Blankenship.
Blanchard.
Blanchard, as the 5th trustee at their meeting held on November 11th, 2025. The Cape Coral Municipal General's Employee Pension Board of Trustees respectfully request that the City Council accept and affirm his appointment. So with that, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to
Move to
ratify their
approve.
appointment.
Second.
Is there any council discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman, Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
Paduk,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, item 8C is unfinished business. C1 is follow-up items for council. We do not have any items listed. Item 2 is follow-up items for city management. We have none listed there either. Item D is new business. None is listed. Item 9 is ordinances and resolution, and 9A is public hearing, quasi-judicial hearings. First of which is Resolution 368-26. Madam City Clerk, please read the title.
Resolution 368-25, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, providing for the vacation of plat for a portion of unexcavated Dolphin Canal right-of-way and underlying easements adjacent to lots 9 and 10, Block 14, Unit 1, Part 2, Cape Coral subdivision, providing for the vacation of platted public utility and drainage easements lying in lots 9 and 10, Block 14, Unit 1, Part 2, property located at 909 Dolphin Drive, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. In reference to this specific quasi-judicial proceeding, if there are any ex parte communications that occurred regarding Resolution 368-25 between the applicant and the members of the council, this is the time to disclose those ex parte communications.
Thank you. Any council members need to divulge any ex parte communications? Okay, seeing none, this is a quasi-judicial hearing. Anyone wishing to speak or provide testimony must be sworn in. If you're here to testify, please stand up and raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, and I'll turn it over to staff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Happy New Year to you all. For the record, Patrick Carlton White, I'm a senior planner downstairs in DSD. This case is Resolution 368-25. I have a brief PowerPoint presentation. The application is from property owners Richard Blackwell and Bridget Billinger. The location is 909 Dolphin Drive. The owners are requesting to vacate 1,559 square feet of unexcavated canal right-of-way and 408 square feet of platted utility easements related to that original vacation request. We're about as far southeast in the city as you can get. The property is highlighted in red. The future land use of the property is single family, and the property as well as all properties immediately around it are R1 zoned. That's the yacht club further there to the southeast. Per the applicant's letter of intent, the vacation is requested to accommodate a future addition and to construct some additional flood protection. If approved, this property will be enlarged by approximately 1,559 feet. The vacation would be accomplished with 3 exhibits that are within your packet. This is the right-of-way vacation depicted here in blue. You'll see that it's upland, it's behind the seawall. The public utility easements that would be vacated are depicted here in red, and a utility easement reservation would be withheld by the city to reestablish our 6-foot perimeter PUE, as we do with all of these vacation cases. There are 5 standards that city staff looks at when examining a vacation. Staff found that this request met all 5 of those criteria. I'd be glad to go into detail if required or requested. Staff is recommending approval of this resolution. The hearing examiner heard this case on November 4th and recommended approval. We've received no correspondence, and I'll stand by for any of your questions. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. I didn't see anyone from the applicant side. Is anyone, is the applicant or they're designated here? If you'd like to testify, come forward, but I don't think you were sworn in, so we'll have to make sure that happens first. Raise your right hand, please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
State your name for the record, sir.
My name is Richard Blackwell, property owner.
Good, sir.
Patrick did an excellent summary of what our intent is. We're looking, to expand the buildable space that we can install some flood protection and to slightly expand our residence. This also serves to realign the easements on adjacent lots where this has already been done. And other than that, we really have nothing to do. If you have any questions for me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I'd like to open up the public hearing. Anyone else wishing to speak on Resolution 368-26, please come forward. It says 368-25 on my paper. Is that what it's supposed to be? Okay. All right. Anyone else wishing to speak, please come forward on this particular resolution. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion regarding Resolution 368-25?
Motion.
Motion to approve 368-25.
Second.
Is there any council discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman, Long, Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
Kaduk,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, move on to item 9B, legislative public hearings, first of which is ordinance 60-25. Madam City Clerk, please read title and set the second and final public hearing date.
Ordinance 60-25, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, approving the development agreement by and between the city of Cape Coral, a Florida municipal corporation, and Gulf Gateway Resort and Marina, LLC, a Florida limited liability company, for a mixed-use project known as 7 Islands, located on approximately 47 acres. Properties located at 106 Old Burnt Store Road North and 606 Old Burnt Store Road North, providing for severability and an effective date. The second and final public hearing will be January 21st, 2026.
Okay, thank you. I'll turn it over to staff.
Good afternoon, Mayor, council members. Sharon Woodbury, Economic Development Manager. The item before you is to consider a development agreement between the City of Cape Coral and Gulf Gateway and Marina for the property commonly known as 7 Islands. City Council originally authorized the sale of this property in November of 2022 and subsequently approved the purchase and sale agreement in the amount of $20 million for the sale of approximately 48 acres. As part of that transaction, the developer was required to provide a specific plan of development. The development agreement now presented to you formalizes those commitments and establishes a master plan under which the property will be developed. As part of the development of that master plan, staff worked closely with the developer over the last 3 years to talk through and identify all of the elements to make sure that this was a plan that could move forward. We had public works, planning and zoning, capital projects, all a part of those discussions as that master plan was being designed. The developer actively engaged with the Northwest Neighbors Association. A membership of 40 was actively involved in giving their support of the buildings, the architectural elements, all of the uses and amenities of the site, and have expressed support of the project. Just to review the project, it is a 47-acre mixed-use development project. It consists of what will be a maximum of 996 residential units. This is a mix of apartments, condominiums, and single-family fish houses. 10-story hotel, 39-slip marina, a public resort, a lagoon-style pool, 16,000 square foot community center on Island 7 that will serve as a public amenity site. It includes a dog park, amphitheater, splash pad, and kayak launch. There are some guidelines and restrictions that this development will have to adhere to. Height restrictions, the hotel is limited to 150 feet in height. All the residential development cannot exceed 120 feet in height. The maximum number of units is 995. The project must provide a minimum of 45,000 square foot of commercial space. That is in addition to the hotel. And the developer will provide some infrastructure enhancements along Old Burnt Store Road that include median improvements, landscaping, and pedestrian pathways. Timeline established within the agreement, the developer will submit phase 1 civil engineering plans within 9 months, and we expect that will happen simultaneously with the permits that are being actively reviewed and are in review by Army Corps of Engineers and the other environmental permits that are a part of that. The agreement establishes the first phase of vertical construction to be Island 7, all of the commercial buildings fronting along Burnt Store Road and the median improvements. That is tied to performance measures and milestones, and the certificates of occupancy for any of the residential units are tied to their completing those tasks and phases. If there are any questions, I'm here to answer those questions, and also the developer is here if you have questions for them as well.
Okay, thank you. I'll now open up public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on ordinance 60-25, please come forward. And we'll use the podium to my left, your right, sir. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Please
My
state
name's-
your name. Start.
My name's Kenneth Evans. I live off Durden, which is right close to Old Burnt Store. I'm opposed to this thing because, number one, how are we going to go in and out of this complex in Seven Islands? You got Ciitis that has, it's one lane. You got all those houses by the canal. I'm sure once people find out they can come down my road, which is, I call it a drag strip, but there's no infrastructure to get that many people in and out of that Seven Islands. Tropicana is the only place that the main road they can, that makes sense to me, but I'm just opposed to building this big thing. We don't need it in town. We have enough stuff. It just doesn't make sense to me to spend all that money and put more people up in our area up there. It's very quiet right now, and that's how we like it, and we just don't want all this extra traffic. It's bad enough Burnt Store Road is a, traffic hazard. People died on 1025 last year. I know it's the county road, so they have to do something to, I don't know if town council can do something to get them to speed it up, but it's just horrible. So that's all I got.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
My name is Jessica Ralston. I live in District 1. I would just like to say there are for rent signs and for sale signs all over Cape Coral, everywhere. Southwest, southeast, northwest. I do not know how you are going to put 950 new units, people in those places when you can't even rent out and sell the places that you have already in Cape Coral. I live off Cape Coral Parkway, and when I drive down Cape Coral Parkway, there are for rent signs at every single property, whether it's high income or low income. This is a seasonal spot. We do not have the money or the infrastructure to keep these places open 9 months out of the year. I've been a bartender. I grew up here. I graduated Cape Coral High School in 1996. There's not enough people here in the summertime to keep these places floating. And the people who are working there will end up losing their jobs because there are no people going to these facilities. We have lost everything in Hurricane Ian. You keep rebuilding, and nothing is being sold. Our property values have gone down. I own my home. My home is one of the first homes built in Cape Coral off El Dorado. My property value has gone down $100,000. And I live in a very, very, prominent neighborhood where people want to move. And there's for rent signs down my road, and there are places for sale. We cannot possibly have more things to just go to nothing in the summertime. We don't have the infrastructure in the summertime to keep these places going. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak regarding ordinance 60-25? Please come forward.
Hello, and thank you for letting us speak. My name is Joan Fry. I live on Old Burn Store Road, right across from where this development is going to be. I, like the other gentleman, am totally opposed to it. We wouldn't even be able to get out of our driveways. I've asked at many of the meetings, what are we doing with the infrastructure? And I've been told, we're not going to do anything with the infrastructure. We have to first get everything situated. Well, that's backwards in my mind. You have to have an infrastructure set. I can't even get out to Burn Store Road in the morning to get to work because there's so many cars and nobody lets you in. You can't even get out of that neighborhood. And now you're going to have how many more people there and how many more cars? It's just not feasible. That's all I want to say.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing none, public input, public hearing is now closed. Seeing that this is just a reminder that this is there will be a second and final public hearing date, and that particular date is January 21st, 2026. No action will be taken tonight, but again, the final public hearing will be set for January 21st, 2026, but I will give council opportunity to weigh in. Councilmember Laster.
Thank you, Mayor. Sharon, could the developer, you said the developers here, would they come up and maybe address the infrastructure and traffic? I want to preface this by saying this project has been going on a very long time to all of you that have come to speak. And the one thing that I will say about especially this developer, since I've lived in this city, I've never seen a developer who's worked hand in hand with the neighborhood association the way these folks have. The Northwest Neighborhood Association, I don't know if any of you are members or if you attend those meetings, but they have been pretty much in lockstep communication throughout this process, which has been going on prior to me even serving the first time in 2017. Maybe Dr. D, you were on council when you were arguing about the height of how tall these buildings were going to be. I don't know. Maybe you go way back like that. But I just wanted to hear from you, Mr. Developer, if you could just explain to these residents kind of the history, very brief history, because as I said, I know, Mr. Ralston, when you spoke about, not having enough people here to be able to sustain this, I wanted to make, I guess, all of you aware of this, little bit of this history, and then moving forward, and, this isn't going to happen overnight, as we all know. It's not going to happen tomorrow. So if we could just give the developer an opportunity to speak and kind of talk about the history and the relationship, and then answer the infrastructure questions if you can. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Sam Bauer. I'm speaking on behalf of Forest Development, the developer. First, I'd like to thank you all, Mayor, council members, and staff for your time and your dedication to the city. To address the items that were spoken on just now, we have engaged the residents from day one, and we've had Zoom meetings with staff where there were no less than 40 individuals, as Ms. Woodbury had stated, who participated in those meetings, who are Northwest neighbors, and the head of the Northwest Neighbor Association as well, current and former. And this has been going on for quite some time. We've conducted traffic studies. We have looked at how people will arrive and have structured the community so it's golf cart friendly, it's pedestrian friendly. Our goal is to reduce the traffic, not increase it. We anticipate a significant number of permanent residents, not transients and so on. The real estate market, as one of the residents had pointed out, yes, it is soft right now. We don't have anything for sale right now and won't for quite some time. These things take a significant amount of time to build. We anticipate that by the time we are ready to offer the products, the market will have gone through a cycle. It's going to be stable. It's going to be a strong market, just like you've experienced here historically. So we don't necessarily see that there is an issue, although I will absolutely acknowledge that there is one right now. As a result of what we're doing, the property values, as one of your residents had mentioned, have recently gone down. A project of this type and scale have historically created a very significant increase in property values because of what we're offering. And if you have any other questions, or if you feel I haven't addressed everything that was spoken about so far, I'm here for you.
No, I think you did a good job keeping it concise. And again, those of you that are here to speak, I would encourage you to reach out to this developer. I mean, I've lived here almost 20 years, and I've never seen anything like this, where, we've had a developer who's literally been hand in hand with the residents of that neighborhood and that particular neighborhood association. And then, Ms. Ralston, when you talk about, a builder said something to me a few months ago. He said something that made a lot of sense about the city of Cape Coral. We either bust or boom. And right now it appears that we are kind of on the soft side, but it's not a total bust. And I do watch the market a lot. I have a lot of friends that are realtors, and I ask those questions. But as this gentleman said, this isn't going to happen overnight. It will probably be ready to have products ready for sale the next cycle. So we'll just have to keep watching. But I encourage you as well to reach out to this developer, because they have a lot of information. They've pretty much answered all the residents' concerns, and especially about the infrastructure concerns that you brought up as well, ma'am, in terms of the traffic. And if you heard him say, one of the presentations that I've seen, or actually two now, is that multimodal, I say that right, multimodal transportation options. So in other words, golf carts, electric bikes, walking past, being able to, not necessarily bring a vehicle into this development. And I think that's brilliant, because that's what we're looking at, right, is decreasing traditional traffic. So thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. I would also like to add that I have invited the current and former heads of the Northwest Neighborhood Association and those residents to attend the next meeting. And any of you that would like to speak with me, please stop over and see me. I'll give you my card. You please reach out to me. It has my mobile number and my email, and I'm available for you.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Kilrain?
Yeah, my points were really going to bring up to the same things that Council Member Laster had mentioned, both in infrastructure, I know it's in the plan, and also the relationship with the Northwest Association has been fantastic. And it's been endurable for several years now, and they continue to discuss it. And I think that the cooperation seen there is something that's a great model for the city. They really participated heavily in that interface, and they really have worked that plan with them very well. As far as asset value, if you look at the timeline of this, and again, they're in the development plan, it goes through timelines. The hotel is like committed over a 10-year timeline, as is the public venue that'll be kind of like a regional place for the citizens of the Cape. And the marina itself. All of those have significant timelines, 10 years, 6 years, that type of thing. So none of this is going to happen very quickly. Some of the first things that will happen will be the seawall, which is a significant investment on their part, and then the infrastructure pieces in order to start laying the groundwork for it. So I think you don't get excited about the timeline at this point. It's going to take a while to get all this stuff in place. I think that the developer, I just mentioned what he's thinking about on timeline. So as far as projects, this is one of I think probably the asset enlargement opportunities we have in the city. And I think it's going to contribute to the benefit of you all that live anywhere nearby this. Your asset values, your homes are going to be increased dramatically, I think, as a result of this. So just give it a little bit of time, and I think you'll start seeing the wheels come together on this thing. So I appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Steinke.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things, and might need the developer chime in here just a little bit, but for those that are concerned about infrastructure and the roads and whatnot, in the backup material that you can get through the website if you'd like, there is a copy of the development agreement in there in section 7 of the development agreement is titled Old Burn Store Road Improvements. And so there are requirements on the developer for road improvements for ingress, egress. So you could take a look at all of those and maybe ask questions that you might have based on that. But that does reference that they are required to address some of that traffic concern that was brought up. One of the things that I found in the development agreement, it relates more to the water, and that is it's a great facility with a lot of water access, and I think that's what will make it attractive, and in some cases more attractive than other areas within the city. My concern was from the come and go voting, if you will, with the number of dwellings that will be there eventually, and their visitors coming to see them, and people, bless you, and people coming to make use of the amenities there. It looks like there are only 10 slips total that are available to the public. 4 on Island 6 and 6 on Island 7, as best as I could gather from the development agreement. And they are called out as minimums. I'm just wondering if there's anything you could speak to as far as other availability for guests that visit the 7 islands that would either be guests of the residents or people wanted to make use of the amenities there that would come by boat.
Yes, absolutely. So in addition to the 10 that are going to be consistently available to the public, there's also a full fueling marina. And then what we are currently permitted for is the ones that you're speaking to are on the outside or western edge of the islands. On the interior side of the islands, we are currently in the permit process for shore parallel docking, because we do anticipate a lot of visitors and coming by boat, going to the restaurants and so on. And we wanted to make sure that they were accommodated. What we're currently permitted for also is not inclusive of the single family homes. And those will be permitted separately as those homes are constructed.
Okay. Thank you. That's
You're
it, Mayor.
welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Just a reminder, the second and final public hearing is set for January 21st, 2026 on ordinance 60-25. We'll move on to the next ordinance, 65-25. Madam City Clerk, please read the title.
Ordinance 65-25, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cape Coral, Florida, amending the City of Cape Coral, Florida Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Administration, Article 6, Pensions, Division 3, General Employees Pension, Section 2-123.2, Membership, regarding the opt-out option for certain non-bargaining unit positions, providing for severability and an effective date.
Okay, I will turn this over to the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Under our defined benefit pension plans, there are certain positions that have eligibility of opting out. Those were previously categorized by a certain pay grade under our old classification schedule. When we most recently adopted the new classification plan, this has required us to align that with the new schedule that was recently approved by council. No change in benefit levels, no change in anything. It's just making sure that the plan document aligns with our current salary schedule.
Okay, thank you. I'll now open up public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on ordinance 65-25, please come forward. Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed, and I'll entertain a motion regarding ordinance 65-25.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there any council discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman, Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
Gaduk,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, just a reminder, comment cards, anyone wishes to participate in citizens input, when it gets to that part in the agenda, they're up here in the front. Please remember to fill those out. Item 9D is introductions. First of which is ordinance 63-25. Madam City Clerk, please read the title, set the public hearing date.
Ordinance 63-25, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cape Coral, Florida, approving the lease purchase agreement between the City of Cape Coral, a Florida municipal corporation, and Deere Credit, Inc. for the acquisition of John Deere brand equipment for the Coral Oaks Golf Course, authorizing the mayor to execute the lease purchase agreement, authorizing the city manager or their designee to execute any purchase orders and any other related documents necessary for the lease and purchase of the equipment, providing for an effective date. The public hearing will be January 21st, 2026.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion by staff or council? Seeing none, we will move on to ordinance 66-25. Madam City Clerk, please read title, set the public hearing date.
Ordinance 66-25, an ordinance amending the City of Cape Coral Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Administration, Article 6, Pensions, Division 2, Firefighter Pension, amending Section 2-122.5, Contributions, Section 2-122.6, Benefit Amounts and Eligibility, Section 2-122.9, Vesting, Section 2-122.27, Deferred Retirement Option Plan, providing for severability and of provisions, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing for an effective date. The public hearing will be January 21st, 2026.
Any discussion by staff or council? Seeing none, we'll move on to ordinance 3-26. Madam City Clerk, please read title, set the public hearing date.
Ordinance 3-26, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cape Coral, Florida, amending City of Cape Coral Ordinance 50-25, which adopted the City of Cape Coral operating budget, revenues and expenditures, and capital budget for fiscal year 2026 by increasing the total revenues and expenditures by a total of $48,023,980, providing for severability and an effective date. The public hearing will be January 21st, 2026.
Okay, thank you. My understanding, the Finance Director may wanted to speak briefly on this particular item.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. Crystal Feast, Financial Services Director. At the request of the mayor, I was asked to put a couple of tables together that summarizes the budget amendment being introduced tonight. And so I do have that for you and the public tonight to go over very briefly, if you will allow me to. All right. So the first table that you see summarizes the budget amendment by source, and it totals the amount being presented tonight. The second table below provides a little bit more detail, and that's what I'll spend a few minutes going over tonight. The first section are grants, and as you know, grants are not adopted as part of the budget each year. Once grants are presented to you and approved, we will then bring them back to, as part of the budget amendment to memorialize and codify them in the budget. So this budget amendment tonight includes $459,975 in new grant funding. So that's outside funding that really lowers the burden on local tax dollars. So it's new money that we receive, outside money that we have to increase our revenue in the budget, and also the associated program expenditures. So that's those amounts will be included or are included in the proposed budget amendment. The next section is debt. And so listed here are the two projects that were presented to council previously and approved, and the identified funding source was debt. And so those proceeds need to be incorporated into the budget. And so again, we've incorporated that along with the associated construction expenditures related to these two projects. And both of those, grants and debt, are considered new spending in this case. The next category is transfers. And there's one project that was previously presented where we added additional construction services to, and $353,000 was presented and approved. And that funding source identified was gas tax revenue. And so because that wasn't originally budgeted for, we have to incorporate that. And so we're doing so with the budget amendment. The next category is miscellaneous, where you'll see two items identified. We have LCI funding and GO bond interest earnings. We estimate LCI funding. However, those estimates came in a little low, so there was additional revenue received. And so we've identified that revenue and we're incorporating it into the budget along with the planned spending to use that for maintenance and equipment replacement at the charter schools. So again, new revenue that we have to incorporate in the budget along with the associated spending. The same goes for the next item that is related to Festival Park. If you remember, at a previous council meeting, additional services were presented to you for approval. Interest earnings was identified, GO bond interest earnings was identified as the funding source. So we've incorporated that new revenue along with the associated spending into the budget amendment being presented. The next category is use of fund balance. So there are two items here included. There was Hancock Bridge Parkway storm drainage improvements, and then Pine Island Road safety improvements. Both of those items were previously presented, and the identified funding source was truly fund balance. So council approved to utilize fund balance and incorporate that into the new budget. So this is genuine new spending to finish or to fund these two projects. The next item is encumbrance, assigned fund balance, and it's $22.3 million. And this is the city's prior commitments and obligations from prior fiscal year that were not completed. Services were not rendered, purchases were not received, And so in order to meet our obligation, we have to carry that forward and incorporate it into this year's budget. That is statutorily required for us to do. And so including this in a budget amendment will allow us to comply with Florida statute. And then the final section is personnel. There was a custodian position that we're proposing to reclass to a supervisor position, and the budget impact of that is about $68,000. And so if approved, that will require us to increase the budget for the property management fund by that amount. And so new spending, if you remove or exclude the encumbrances, new spending is $25.6 million, which represents 53.4% of the budget. And if you exclude debt, which is paid over time, it would be closer to 9%. And so that's what I wanted to present. Hopefully that provides a little bit more information and clarification to you and to the public watching.
Thank you, and I appreciate you taking the time, you and your staff, putting this together. What I was looking for was something that was a little easier. If you look at our backup material and you look at the budget amendments, and it's several pages long, this is a quick reference, a table that you can look at and really shows what the actual new spending is, or what is being brought forward from FY25. So I think it's easier for us. I think it's easier for the community to understand. So I appreciate you and your staff taking the time putting this together. With that, I'll open up for any discussions. Councilmember Kadouk.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, Crystal, that was a great presentation and it shed a lot of light. I do have a lot more questions. So was this all 2025 spending or was it carried forward from 2024 as well?
For the encumbrances? 25.
Okay. And then also, was the spending authorized as a specific ordinance, which shows in our backup material in our footnotes 1 through 15, we have those pages, or is it just the general fund of 2025?
So any previously approved council items are presented as backup, and that would be across funds. So depending on, if the resolution could be general fund, it could be enterprise funds, it could be any of the funds.
Okay. And I know you guys are working on the ACFR, the annual comprehensive financial report. Will this show a reduction in 2025 spending?
What do you mean by that?
So we have 18 different documents that we follow all this money through. Is the ACFR going to show that we had a reduction in spending than what the adopted budget was?
The ACFR will show actual spending. So do you
So
mean
it should show
a
less
reduction
because we're
compared
moving-
to previous years?
Moving money forward, so it should show less than what we actually adopted, right?
No.
Okay. So was the money from the 2025 budget parked in a specific restricted or committed fund somewhere?
So what happens at the end of the year, when revenues exceed expenditures, it falls to fund balance. And when it comes to commitments and obligations that are encumbered, it goes to assigned fund balance. But knowing that that assignment is already committed, and so it needs to be moved into next year's budget. So it does fall to an assigned fund balance at the end of the year.
Restricted or committed?
Assigned.
Assigned, a different one completely. Awesome. It's a lot to learn. Okay, so then also Mike sent us all an email thanks to the mayor responding, and I have questions on that. So I'm going to dive into that one too. Attachment B, page 3 of 5 in our backup material. Other adjustments, fiscal year 2025 carry forwards. So these are outstanding purchase orders, correct?
Contracts and purchase orders, yes.
Okay. They're all documented by outstanding purchase orders.
Yes.
Okay. Or is it part of the budget and it's an allocation that we are moving from a prior year forward? Or just it's all purchase orders?
It's all purchase orders.
Okay. And can we see the dated purchase orders?
Yeah, we have a list of those.
It's not an open finance?
I'm sorry?
It's not an open finance?
So what we use, we run a report at the end of the year to identify open purchase orders and those that we we review, and if we choose to move those forward or carry them forward, then that's what's used. So there is reporting or a mechanism in the system to identify those.
When would you choose to not move something forward?
So operating expenditures, for example, those you wouldn't. So if there's money budgeted for printed materials, this is a very simple example, but
Yeah.
if we have money budgeted for printing and that's not all used by the end of the year, that does not get carried forward. They have to reappropriate that or rebudget it next year. New funds. New
Okay.
spending for that.
So I know I'm just putting my, private life up here. Sometimes when we have departments that we manage, it's either, use it or lose it type of budgeting. Is that the case in this?
For operating, typically.
Okay. So the ACFR and open finance.
Unless there's a
okay.
purchase order, like for engineering, that's considered operating, but there's a contractual arrangement or agreement attached to that. So that is an example where we would carry that forward. But for other operating expenditures like electric and things like that, where you have your 12 months within a fiscal year, there's no need to roll any unspent money forward because you've already captured your 12 months in that year.
Okay. So in open finance, which I pulled up here, and I know you probably know it like the back of your hand, but all the numbers and the ACFR don't correlate. So maybe we can have like a workshop on that, but the numbers don't add up at all. Like they're all different in all different places. And I'm not saying that you guys are doing anything nefarious, but it just doesn't make sense. So another example to that would be our fiscal year 2023 budget shows 333 million, but the actual spent was 229 million. 2024 on open finance shows 275 million, but the actual spent was 266 million. 2025, 277 million, but the actual spent was 266 million.
Mm-hmm.
So is it safe to assume that delta is spent eventually in the following fiscal years, or is it moved to our reserves?
Both happen. And so it's hard for me to put a number to each of that, but both happen. So in the case of the carry forwards, that's part of that budget being moved or part of that funding being moved to the next year's budget. And then in the cases of the operating expenses that don't carry forward, that would fall to the bottom line. So both happen.
Okay. And does an open purchase order have to be in place for money to be held over to the next fiscal year?
Yes. Typically, yes.
Every time I feel like you're like, yes, but no.
No, yes.
Okay. So you have to have an open purchase order to have the money moved forward to the next fiscal year.
Yes.
Okay. Is the money available in reserves?
Is the money
Available in reserves?
So remember,
you assign it.
It falls to assigned fund balance, and then we use that to carry forward. So,
Okay. And the final question, when does the money expire or it can't be spent?
So contracts typically have an expiration date, so that would drive that. And they usually have a performance period that would drive that as well. So I would say, generally speaking, yes, it does expire.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Laster.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Crystal. That was a really good synopsis, and thank you, Mayor, for suggesting that. Will we be able to have that all the time, like moving forward, so that it helps us communicate this to our residents, constituents, so when they ask questions about, exactly, I was going to ask the same question about the ACFR because the numbers don't match. If you look exactly what Councilmember Kaduke pulled up, I pulled up as well. And I think that's a great suggestion, Councilmember Kaduke, about maybe training us a little bit more on that because we have, many residents who reach out to us who say, oh, well, you have the slush fund or this money's it's overflow. So where's that going? You're sticking it over here. I think if we had a little bit more training, maybe in our next budget workshop on that, so that we're able to communicate to our residents and our taxpayers so that they understand and just a really simple, a simple breakdown that could explain that would be helpful.
Okay.
I try all the time to explain it's like accruals, like in my world, in my private world, you have these accruals and the accruals, let's say you budgeted for last year, but then you didn't spend that PO until the year after, you got to go accrue for that. So that's how I try to explain it. But sometimes I see they get lost in my words too. So if we could have something like this each time to be able to explain and add that training to our next budget workshop, I think that would be really helpful. And thank you, Mayor, again for asking for this. Thank you.
Councilmember Donnell.
Thank you. I'm trying to use words that I don't want to offend anyone, but I do want you to grasp what I'm saying and consider it. The questions that were raised up here were excellent questions. They're point questions because many of us, all of us, we have a budget. What I can share with you, having been here before, the way that we do our home budgets is completely different than the way the budgeting happens in a municipality. Then when it gets confusing is all of the noise that gets out there with how the federal government does it. And so it just gets all confusing. So one thing I want you all to know, and for all of us, is that we are required by law to present a balanced budget. If that doesn't happen, then they go to jail and don't have jobs. So that's in a totally different hemisphere. So as we continue, as we go throughout this educational piece, I cannot even sit up here and think I have the longest tenure and tell you that document. I can tell you line by line by line by line, like I can tell you my home budget. That's just not the reality unless you live in that world. By the way, that's why we pay them the money that we pay them. So one of the outcomes I'm telling you today, because you can follow that, is that we continue to be awarded here for completing a balanced budget, meaning that things that appear to be shaded or held, it's not the case because we are being scrutinized on the regular. So I hope I didn't offend anyone, but this process is very meticulous. Yes, you can get it. The average person can get it, but it will take us, you have to be there. These professionals are here 8, 9, 10, 12 hours a day going through this. That's the level of commitment that we would have to get the understanding. Our job up here, we're trying to just take that and piecemeal it out to you in the wake of all of this noise to give you a measure of comfort to know that the money is being spent and no one's out there fleecing their pockets. So I wanted to put that out there. I look forward to having this conversation this Friday. Make sure you grill me on that. But this is really for those of you all who, I see a couple of people out there, I don't want to call their names, but you know, there are people out here right now that you know the complexities of a budget. And we're talking $1 billion+ budget. I'll just leave it at that. So thank you for the explanation. Thank you for the questions. And I do also support the educational piece at the COW to do the best that we can to give more understanding so that people can have at least, a working explanation. But I don't expect to understand every piece of the CAFRA, the ACRA, and no, that's why we have you. All right, that's all.
Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Crystal did a wonderful job. I want to just add a little bit more on that kind of use it or lose it so that the community and you all have some comfort that, as we approach fiscal year end, we have a PO shut off that's before the final period, before September. And so that prevents departments who say, oh, I had $5,000 for office supplies or uniforms from on 9/30 just saying, let me spend it. So we shut them down from spending before we even get close to the end of the year. And then any POs that are remaining open, all the department heads are asked to, with their staff, scrub all their operating, as she was saying, operating POs, Home Depot for 1,000 for office supplies, Lowe's for small equipment, tools, and basically close them out. At the end, then they're left with a list of what really can be absorbed by the budget for next year. Is it just a continual operating expense, or is it something that is related to a contractual expense or an obligation we have? I will also point out one other thing. In our city charter, section 710 actually requires operating appropriations. So department heads put together a budget request. I submit a budget proposal to you. You all adopt a budget, which becomes a formal appropriation. We encumber those appropriations with POs And that reserves their appropriations to make sure they're not double spending within their budget allocation. Annual appropriations every year by our charter lapse. So it's a forced use it or lose it type situation per our charter, with the exception of encumbrances, which is what these are, or capital projects, which have a much longer life. Thank you.
Yeah, and one thing I just wanted to recommend to any of the council members, I had 2 meetings in the last week, having a discussion with finance director and her staff that was very informative. So I would encourage any of us that do have questions to take the time, sit down. I think they're available for us at any time, and they'll go through and answer any questions that you may have. So it worked out well for me the last week, and I would recommend it for anyone to utilize the staff that we have and the expertise that they bring. And I'll say the same thing that some of us have already said. The private sector accounting principles and governmental accounting principles, they're far apart. They're not even close. So the average person thinking at home, this is how I do my accounting, or maybe how I run my business, governmental accounting principles is much, much different. And there's a lot of Florida statutes that we have to make sure that we are required to meet. So just wanted to mention that as well. So, but thank you, Crystal, for the short presentation tonight. And I know we'll have a more in-depth presentation next week for our next regular council meeting. So with that being said, let's see if there's any other discussion by staff or council on this particular item. There's no public input on, well, we're going to get to that. I'm still on ordinance 3-26. Any other comments on ordinance 3-26?
We don't get a hearing on that?
All right. We will move on to ordinance 4-26. Madam City Clerk, please read the title and set the public hearing date.
Ordinance 4-26, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, amending the city of Cape Coral, Florida Code of Ordinances, Chapter 26, Cape Coral Charter School Authority, Section 26-2, creation of Charter School Authority and Board, Section 26-3, student community, Section 26-4, composition of authority board, Section 26-5, background and verification, Section 26-6, board appointments and participation, Section 26-9, terms of board members, Section 26-11, conduct of board, Section 26-13, appointment of committees, Section 26-14, adoption of regulations, rules, and resolutions, Section 26-15, powers and duties of Charter School Authority, Superintendent, and City, and Section 26-17, administrative services, providing for severability and an effective date. The public hearing will be January 21st, 2026.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion by staff or council? Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to bring to your attention, I've spoken with you all during the one-on-ones. This this ordinance amendment memorializes the ordinance that you did in fact see at the committee of the whole, and it does in fact reflect the agreement of you all regarding the amendments to Chapter 26. What I am going to provide to the public and to identify the change, there has been one inclusion of an additional section within Chapter 26, and that is Section 26-5. Specifically, this provision is meant to identify the requirements for moving forward that any future applicant to the board is required to go through a background and verification process to identify at least the 5 main components of the background, which is employment, criminal, financial, education, and then military status, if that is in fact put on there. Furthermore, this section does in fact mandate and require that this happen before you all receive that you all receive before you make that selection process. So it's a conditioned precedent that the complete background is provided to you all before your appointment happens during the regular council meeting. And additionally, it also provides a provision in there that if during that process, if there is false, fictitious, or misleading information, either while the application process is going through or it's discovered after, they are either disqualified from the application process moving forward and/or immediate removal by the board, by the mayor and city council, if there's in fact a determination of that. This is all brand new. It's a brand new section. You do not see it, the committee of the whole. I'm bringing you all, I'm letting you all know that this has been done. I'm also making sure that there's transparency on it. Again, this was not discussed at the committee of the whole. I just want to make sure that you are aware of it. It is not final. If there's any modifications, alterations, or removal, that can in fact happen before the second and final public hearing. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, with that, any other comments regarding ordinance 4-26 from staff or council? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to item 10, is citizens input. Citizens input is a maximum of 60 minutes is set for the input of citizens on matters concerning city government, 3 minutes per individual. Please remember to state your name for the record. Again, if you wanted to participate in citizens input, you had to fill out a comment card, and the city clerk will call your name up. Once you hear your name, please come to the podium to my left, your right.
Skyland Brown and Tom Shadrack.
Hi, my name is Skyland Brown. Good evening, council. I want to start by saying that I reviewed the entire agenda. Some items are procedural and grant funded, and I support those. My concern tonight is with the data being used to justify major expansion decisions. Multiple items on this agenda approved utility expansion, roadway improvements, and land acquisitions. These are permanent, high-cost decisions. Before approving them, residents deserve clarity on what current data is being used to justify continued expansion. I'm not questioning whether people are moving here. They are. What I'm questioning is whether the rate and pattern of growth that's being relied upon reflects current conditions, especially given the changes we've seen in the housing market, inventory levels, and absorption rates. If updated population estimates, net migration data, housing absorption trends, and utility connection data are being used, I am asking that those numbers be clearly presented to the public before additional expansion is approved. I also want to acknowledge that the city is currently undergoing an active audit of its building and permitting operations. Until that audit is completed and the findings are made public, approving further expansion projects that rely on those same systems feels premature. Finally, I want to address the environmental and public safety risk. This agenda includes multiple approvals for wetland and mangrove mitigation tied to development support. Wetlands and mangroves are not amenities. They are storm buffers. They absorb water, reduce surge, and protect neighborhoods. We have all lived through Hurricane Ian. We know what a major storm does to the city. Removing natural flood protection while approving expansion and then spending more on pumps and generators to compensate this puts residents at a greater risk if we face another major storm. My ask is simple. Please present the current data driving expansion decisions, allow the audit to be completed, and prioritize protecting natural systems that function as critical infrastructure before approving additional growth. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Please keep your applause to yourself.
Good afternoon and good Happy New Year. Tom Shadrack. I would have spoke about a portion of this during the public hearing on the budget amendment, but it wasn't offered to the public. So my first question was just on the debt, the timing. You know, both the yacht club and the additions to the JC Park roof were all well known before the budget was approved. Why now come to the council after the budget was discussed for those 2 points? That 22 million was, or 20 million plus was well known. The other thing, that you have $22.4 million of encumbrances that were moved. I appreciate the explanation, but I would like to see the list of the items. Pretty simple probably to put that moved from one fiscal year to the current fiscal year now. What are those items that didn't get done? Was it planned not to get done, or is it delayed, or a problem? We'd like to see the list of those items. I went through all those pages in the amendment, and there was no explanation as to what the items were that were moved. So if you get that list before the final hearing, that'd be great. Another topic on the balanced budget that was brought up, our budgets, since I was been involved for 6-7 years on our budgets, they're not balanced at all. The financial policies are geared and with conservative, and they're always a surplus. Just looking at the actuals from September that were finally published before the ACFR in April, showed, I think, 68.2 million surplus to the general fund and special revenue fund. I'm sure there's explanations, but that shows a surplus to those two funds. And then, the city added a bunch more money too in this fiscal year, which makes you suspect as to if there's that much surplus, why did we increase revenue so much with this current fiscal year? Okay, I would have brought that up earlier, but two more quick questions. The yacht club, my family visited the yacht club over the holidays, and there were supposed to, I think, been food trucks put in there by the Kearns Group before the end of the year. And if they didn't do it, the city would do it come 1st of January. Are there now plans to put food trucks there? I went by there today at noon and there was 100 people on the beach. I'm sure they would have liked to have some services. Lastly, the Yacht Club Pier. A lot of news been there talking about Naples starting their destruction of their pier. Then they brought up the Yacht Club, the beach pier with its modernization. What's the plan for ours? And where are our lobbyists helping get that done if it's permitting?
Thank you.
And funds from FEMA. Thank you.
Lane Jones and Ken Evans.
Hello and Happy New Year to everyone. Nice to see you all again. And I'm going to piggyback a little bit on what Tom said about budgets. And, we get billion-dollar budgets and we get billion-dollar projects. And apropos of the yacht club, I don't recall coming here and hearing any resident ask for a 3-story L-shaped parking garage. And I don't recall them asking for a number of these amenities that we're going to pay for, that presumably people who will be visiting us will be enjoying at our expense for maintenance. And I think we should be hospitable, but I also don't believe that our existence for Cape Coral, our role in our own parks, is to pump out the heads of our visitors' yachts and do hospitality at a couple of restaurants. And that's really what these are offering us as residents and owners, and as opposed to what they're giving the people who are visiting them, which is a really nice place to come at our expense. And what we really wanted, if you ask people at the yacht club, the pier, the fishing pier, which wasn't even in part of some of these discussions, the wall, the beaches, and someplace to splash their Key West. And not the 40-foot yacht that's going to come from Naples or from Charleston or one of these other destinations that we're talking that people are going to come. And that's wonderful, but I wouldn't really depend on them. And that's not who we're serving. We're paying for this, and it should be geared to our needs. And this is just one example. I don't know what's going to happen for Freedoms. I go down there, I talk to people, they have no clue there's a change coming to that park. And you know what? I looked into it, and somehow businesses were consulted. What do you think about Four Freedoms Park? Businesses were consulted. We think it's old and run down. Were people consulted about what they want for Four Freedoms Park? And I was told not to discuss it because there are RFPs out. But were there discussions about what an RFP should be considered? Are we going to pay for this park, or the people who come around to develop in Bimini Basin, are they going to pay for the pleasure of building around our public park, our gym? We don't sell these things off. They come here because we have them. And you think you're great business, but I don't see any evidence of this. Please show me that you can develop a park that's appropriate for the people who live here within a budget that was set, not one that you dream up by increasing our taxes periodically at your wish. This is clarity. This is not anybody's public or private axe to grind or political opinion. This is just for the good of the city. And I hope I have all of you on board when we discuss these things. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please, no applause. This is a business meeting.
Ken Evans?
How you doing? I just want more comment on the 7 Islands. I see a way in there is Tropicana Parkway, and at the end of Tropicana Parkway, this was probably 2 years ago, there was a tree with eagles, and you guys put the rocks around and so you couldn't go in there. Now you built the park there. Where did the eagle go? That were there. Plus, with all the traffic again with building 7 Islands and CITIS, how are we going to be able to get all these people in there with without causing more issues on Burnt Store Road? Again, they're going to find shortcuts, and one of them is going to be on my road. And it's horrible. My road is horrible right now. A couple of years ago, before I got injured in an accident, I bought a speed camera. And I was, the speed limit is actually 30 on that road. I've clocked people doing 60 and 70 from Old Burnt Store to my house, which is about a quarter of a mile. Because Durden Parkway is about a mile long. And people hit their brakes at my house to slow down for Old Burnt Store. How fast are they going to do that from my house, from where I live? And the 7 Island thing, I just can't see, like people said, we're bringing all these people in there. You're not going to have a lot of permanent residents there. And like the one lady said about employees, all those jobs are going to be minimum wage jobs. And can people, fortunately our house is paid for too. But, it's just, I just can't see building something like that for what? They're building all this new stores on Pine Island Road. They're not even any residents. You got buildings on Pine Island Road that are empty. Go to Del Prado. Buildings are empty. Why are we building new stuff? Again, we got to stop. Just if we got grass, leave it there. And it's just, I don't know, I'm frustrated. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, sir.
Anne Marie Spielmacher and Kyle Lahamadou.
Did you say Jeff Locker?
No, sir, not yet.
Okay.
We're going down the list.
My hearing's bad.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to be scared this time.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Yeah, I'm really here just to say, my name is Anne Marie Spielmacher. I've lived here for about 38 years. I don't know how long anybody else has lived here. But first I want to say thank you. I saw some progress on the old Cape Coral Country Club. It's finally, there's something being done there to turn it into something. And also for the Crystal Lake Parks. I have some suggestions or some more advocacy. That Crystal Lake Park, I have not seen it, but if you don't put some trees out there, nobody's going to go there. They'll burn up for the people who live here if they try to swim or have a picnic or do something. So please make sure you get those trees put in there. Regarding the Old Country Club on Palm Tree Boulevard, last time I was here, I asked for that to turn into a green space and to work on that yacht club. We have not had a swimming pool for the seniors who, last time I was here really about the kids who don't know how to swim and don't have pools in their backyards, as well as the country club. So here's the thing, as I've thought about, and this maybe is more appropriate, I better hurry up for tomorrow, but I can't come here tomorrow. So If you would put a lap pool, a simple lap pool, I've been driving personally over the bridge to Fort Myers, paying a membership, blah, blah, blah. We need something here. It doesn't have to be exorbitant. You can do, I'm so grateful for all the new things that are here. I was here when it was called the Coma, as in the Cape Coma, because it was so dead. So I appreciate the good things that you're doing. But don't forget about the people who have been here and need the simple services that you have just, they're just not here. So regarding the lap pool, you need them for the lessons for the kids. You need jobs for the kids here, the high school kids, the college kids that are here, maybe some seniors. I don't know why you couldn't, I don't think you can commingle, but partner with FEMA money, the community redevelopment money, and the Parks and Rec money to make something happen at the Palm Tree Boulevard location. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kyle Amadou, Chair, Take Out the Trash. Good evening, council, fellow peasants, commandant. That suit looks really nice. Is that one of the ones that we just had pressed for you? I want to address something Councilmember District 2 said about me on December 12th in public. I never said I didn't know you. What I said was I didn't know any of you or any of my fellow pain in the asses while you all were running for office. I didn't know anybody. I remember you coming to my house, and I remember you speaking to me in my home. I remember asking you if I lived alone because you looked at the decorations in my house and theoretically you thought it had a woman's touch to it, which it does. I remember you speaking of palms getting greased. Your words, not mine. And you're the one that put me down the path of one of our current investigations. The first thing I want to hear out of your mouth is a damn apology, because I never lied about knowing you, and nor did I ever invade your personal life. I guess this is what we talk about when we say the council listens with deaf ears. Moving on. I have questions about properties passing inspection when the property seems to be out of compliance. It has come to my attention that a property has passed inspection when something seemingly wasn't done to code. There are no steps leading out of a pool cage that has multiple steps, 5 or more, down to a dock. The address is 5301 Southwest 23rd Avenue. I'd like to know how that passed inspection. Is this just something that certain people get away with? I would also like the city manager to provide an answer to that at the next regular scheduled meeting. Thank you.
Jeff Lockhart and Julia Atari.
Hello, Jeff Lockhart, 46, 47-year resident of Cape Coral. You know, there's a lot of things I don't agree with, but I think if my best result would just be make an appointment with the council members in private. So that's what I'm going to do. Just a couple things. Like I said, I've been here 47 years in truck parking and homeless. They've been supposed to be working on this for years. And now it's a big deal again. You arrest the people that are sleeping downtown or wherever, and then what do we do with them? I mean, that'll be for another time. But I do enjoy the parks. Well, I want to compliment the soccer program you have out there, and thank you for the additional parking out there. It's greatly appreciated. Okay, so not everything's bad in the city. I mean, but there's good things. Redfish Point, I do not agree with building out there. And there's somebody here that got in a little incident over the holidays. And she has my whole support. And I just think people that live in glass houses should never throw stones. Thank you.
Please keep your applause to yourself.
Hello, Julia Atari, Cape Coral, Take Out the Trash, Vice Chair. Before you went on hiatus, I asked some questions about the flagpole. And did you have a EIN number for the flagpole account? Who's paying for the advertising? How much are we using out of our city budget for that? Because now we see all of the kiosks downtown saying donate, advertising on the news. I just want an accounting of that. Public records request. We are holding a town hall January 31st for the citizens at Lake Kennedy Center. We'd appreciate anybody that wants to come. It's being sponsored by Take Out the Trash, Cape Coral. This is Citizens Town Hall. I had a call from a gentleman that requested a list of all the people, the workers that are in the DROP program. And he was told that they didn't have that. Do you not have a list of all the employees that are in the DROP program and what their benefits are going to be from that? I can't imagine somebody doing a FOIA request for that and you replying that you don't have that. So I'm going to ask a FOIA request for both of my items separately. Did you ever get a better price on the roof of the J.C. Park? I was curious about that. That was prior to your hiatus. We never got an answer, and it's extremely large amount. You have contractors up there, you have builders up there, you know. And when I got the explanation of the overhang, I went back. My father was a contractor and a builder. That wasn't a good enough explanation for spending that much money on a tin roof, or metal roof, excuse me. So my concern is that there's no oversight in the bidding. Just because it's the lowest bid doesn't mean we're getting the lowest price on the materials. We have 3 city managers. Somebody should be able to look at a bid and say, that's too much money. Why are we paying twice market value or 3 times market value? And I realize it's not their money, so it doesn't matter. We're going with lowest bid, but you got to be more diligent with what you're spending, because it's overspending. I told you before you left on hiatus, going for your holidays, maybe you ought to think about the citizens and their pockets and cut back on some of these things. The Go Bond projects, how many parks were done? People ask simple questions, and we come to citizens input and ask, and I'll be quite honest, we never get an answer. We get a lot of who shot John, but nobody answers the questions. And that's getting a little sad. We get placated. We get told that we shouldn't talk. Answer the questions.
Thank you. Keep your
Ruben,
applause to yourself.
Ruben Varcia.
Only your civil rights get violated.
What was the name again?
Ruben?
Ruben, are you here?
Varcia or Varela?
There you go, Ruben.
Yes, Varela. Ruben Varela. Thank
How's it
you.
going, guys? Good evening. I have it written down on my phone, so excuse me. My name is Ruben Varela. I'm a homeowner, taxpayer, and local business owner here in the Cape. I'm here today because I received a code enforcement notice regarding my company truck being parked in my driveway. I want to be very clear. I own my home. I don't live in an HOA, and I maintain my property responsibly. I'm not creating a nuisance, blocking sidewalks, or impacting public safety. I'm simply parking my work vehicle at my residence. When I questioned the notice, I try to be reasonable. I asked if I could instead park the truck behind my home, especially since I know that residents are able to park their boats behind their home. The answer to that question was no. They told me I wasn't allowed. So what I took that as was that we're able to park, toys and vehicles that are not essential, but, the vehicle that I use for my livelihood and to provide for my family is not allowed. I mean, I can understand why I could bother someone that I'm parking in my driveway, but to not give us an alternative is and I'm right now I'm freestyling. I'm gonna put my phone down because I do much better when I'm having an organic conversation. But it's just, I moved out of Miami, came over here to be able to provide my family with a better life. because of what I sold my property in Miami, which was a townhome, I was able to not only buy a house over here, which was unrealistic in Miami, but also fund my business, which, thank God has been thriving. And also employ other guys in the Cape Coral area, one of which is my neighbor, and he went from, possibly losing his house to now he's caught up with his payments because of the work that I've been able to provide. And now I'm told that I can't park. And I'm they're saying that they're going to fine me, they're going to fine him. I'm trying to find a lot where it's a singular lot where I could park these trucks, and it's not a reasonable price. And they're located across the bridge, and that's just not feasible because, as you guys know, truck drivers spend a lot of time on the road, and then to ask them to go to Fort Myers to park their vehicle after a long shift, to then have to take their personal vehicle across that bridge again to make it home safely, it's not reasonable. So I'm just asking for some leniency, asking how we could come up with a solution, because I want to make sure that, I'm keeping the money coming in Cape Coral. We're spending the money here, and I want to create more opportunities for the local citizens. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the last one.
That's the last one. All right, citizens' input is now closed. I'll open it up for any council discussion on citizens' input. Only thing I wanted to mention real quickly is one of the speakers had asked about providing some citizens' input when we were discussing 3-26. That particular item is on introduction. It's not a public hearing. As you see on the agenda, we set the public hearing date for January 21st. So that would have been the opportunity when we have the public hearing, if you'd like to provide any additional comments. So I just wanted to make sure there was a good understanding why there was not any citizens' input during that time. With that, Councilmember Lassiter.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to address a few things. We talk about development, we talk about amenities, and we talk about bringing people over the bridge to spend their money in our city. And you'll hear a lot of us up here talk about 90-10, 90% commercial tax base, 90% residential, 10% commercial tax base. When we create amenities, that's the hope, right? Is to bring and increase that commercial tax base so it takes the pressure off of us, the ad valorem taxpayers. So I just wanted to reiterate that and point that out. We are having an upcoming discussion on the yacht club soon at our next actual COW meeting. We'll get an update on that. Mr. Shadrack, yes, I don't think there's anyone up here who doesn't agree with you that the marine amenities need to happen ASAP, because we do have that permitted, with the exception, of course, at the pier. But at least we need to get that going. And I don't think you'll have any opposition to that up here, because we're all like, come on, let's do it. The food trucks we can check on. I do remember we did commit that. So I can check on that with Mr. City Manager later or next week at my meeting. And Anne Marie Schumacher, when you talked about the old golf course, yes, we're clearing it. We don't know what we're putting there yet. On January 24th, I'll be having a town hall, and the entire topic will be the old golf course. I'll have my partner in crime in Parks, Joe Petrella, our Parks and Recs director, with me to be able to answer questions. We did get a little over 1,000 surveys, which I was a little disappointed in, because we have a city of over 200,000 people, and I would have thought for sure we would have gotten more than 1,000 surveys, but it's a starting point. And so we'll be looking at that and hopefully be able to put some plans together and some ideas together. The idea is to keep it green space. It is to keep it a regional park. So stay tuned on that. And then Skylar, you asked a ton of questions, like a humongous big old ball. But what I was going to ask you is if you would so kindly reach out to me and set up a meeting with me. I'd be happy to sit down with you and kind of dissect each one, because your points are valid. But a lot of people oftentimes think we should just stop, like we just have to stop. But as you heard us talk about our budget, and you heard us talk about, we're having to accrue this, we're having to put this, the the numbers don't match at the end of the year because we end up with a surplus, that's a whole big old discussion. And that's the best way I can describe it to you. So please reach out to me. I'm very easy to find. I'm pretty sure everyone in Lee County has my cell number, but you can certainly use that, or you can email me, and I'll give it to you, and then come meet with me, and we'll pull it all apart. Okay? And thank you for being here, and appreciate your generation. And let's see, Ruben, I'm assuming you probably have a large truck, like a large, maybe 18-wheeler truck, maybe big. So I'm going to ask you again to also reach out to me if you could, and let me see if we can develop some solutions. We don't really have any. I know years ago, when some of us were first elected, I think we had talked about, wouldn't it be great to have a city lot where we could put these big work trucks and, kind of use it as a quote unquote park and ride. And that was, I'm going way back. I'm going like 7-8 years ago. But we don't really have a solution. So I'd love to talk with you and pick your brain about one. And I appreciate all you do and your business here, and bringing your family from Miami to here. My husband grew up in Miami, and I really like Cape Coral a lot more too. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Steinke.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things to add. I did speak with city manager during my meeting with him this week in regard to the food trucks at the yacht club. The Kearns Group had until the end of the year to take the option of running those themselves. At the very end, they chose not to. So we are now putting out a request for proposal for food trucks to go in there, probably a couple of them, food and beverage for those people to address that issue. The pier itself, also we discussed that, waiting on the Army Corps permit, the government shutdown, 40 odd days evidently has set them back even an additional amount of time to get their permits approved. We have engaged both our congressman and using our federal lobbyists to try to put pressure on getting the permits approved that would allow us to do that. And that's really all I have to add. Thanks.
Councilmember Gadut.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Lasher hit it all, but I just want to make sure that everyone knows that we are listening. So Ms. Brown, thank you so much for coming and speaking. And I did see your post online and I read it, and you kind of reiterated everything that you had posted online. Thank you so much for being engaged. And of course, reach out to any one of us if you have any questions or concerns, or if you want any information. I think the public doesn't realize that when the agenda goes live to the public, it's also live to us then. We have the exact same amount of time to review as you all. So reach out to us as soon as it's posted and you have your questions, and we can ask staff beforehand, and you're still more than welcome to come to the public input and we can ask even more questions. So thank you again for taking time out of your afternoon to come. Mr. Shadrack, I agree with you. I think you know that. So I'll just leave it at that and we'll continue down our rabbit holes. Ms. Jones, I also agree with you on the yacht club, and I did bring that up. I've brought that up at every yacht club meeting that we've had at every committee of the whole. I've spoken to you at BUPAC about it. So thank you for your passion, and we're going to see where we're going with this. I did ask staff for all the encumbrances to date on the yacht club so we can see exactly where we're at with spending and where we're going to be with spending. They haven't provided that to me yet, but as soon as they do, I'll make sure that I share that with you. And then there was a gentleman that spoke on the Seven Islands issues. He didn't speak his name, so I'm sorry that I can't address you by your name, but I think the developer spoke about this. I think a lot of people don't realize that this is like a huge project, like a 30-year project. I did grow up here. There's a few people that spoke about being here for 30 plus years. I'm 36 years old and I grew up here, so I have seen all of Cape Coral develop as well. So we'll see how it goes. Miss Anne Marie, I didn't know if it was Spillmaker or Shoemaker. I couldn't hear properly, but your suggestions at Crystal Lake Park are amazing. And there are nonprofits in the area that will get grants and they will plant trees. So we'll make sure that we're working alongside them to try to get some trees there. Kyle, I think, thank you for forwarding me stuff, and I'll make sure I get some information. And I believe that you were speaking to other council members up here, but thank you for always coming and being engaged with our city government. I mean, it's all of our government, so thank you. Mr. Lockhart, thank you so much for everything that you spoke on, and please set up a one-on-one meeting with me. I don't believe we've done that yet. And thank you so much for your kind words tonight. It really does mean a lot. Julia, I will find out, and I actually had asked Kyle to send me what you were speaking on tonight, so I know if you're listening, if you're watching, if you left, just get me the information and I can ask. And then Mr. Varela, Councilmember Lastra already hit it. I was gonna ask what size vehicle do you have, but you said it was 26-wheeler? Okay.
What, 26-footer?
26-footer, okay. So yeah, perfect. Reach out to us. We'll try to work something out. I mean, not code compliance wise, we can't change the rules for all of the city, but I understand your frustrations. And of course we want to keep it in the Cape. So thank you for coming and speaking and being engaged with your government. That's all. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Lehman.
Yeah. Ms. Jones, you mentioned your unhappiness with the yacht club, that it's too extravagant. I've been saying that all along. I don't disagree with you. If you want to discuss it further, please let me know. Mr. Lamadou, you mentioned an address, and I'm sorry, I didn't get the whole thing. I got part of it. I would appreciate getting the rest of the address, that you feel that there's a code issue with, if I understood you correctly, steps up to the cage or up to the pool cage?
From the pool cage down to the dock.
Okay. Yeah, if you could just give me the address, I'd like to look into it. Thank you. Thank you.
If you want to look into it, just come over to my house. That's my. I'll come pick you up tomorrow. I'll show you what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's the problem. Go ahead, Councilmember Donnell.
I didn't realize it was your address. Excuse me.
Yeah. So. But if you want to see it, let me know.
Mercy. That's it to you.
We can turn my light off.
Remy, you're a hard act to follow, man. You know that.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Donnell.
So,
Councilmember.
The words. This is not a, I know there are those of you all that would like to fight. I recognize that. You will not get a fight from me because we are not the enemy. You're not the enemy. I don't understand why some of us can't understand that we are in this together. If you're shaking your head, we've lost. What we say here, though, the only thing I'm going to say to you, you are not my enemy. You might think I'm yours, but I'm not. I'm working the best I can, as well as the rest of us, to make this a place that we would like to call home. I want that to sink in when you leave. So if you're out there wanting to fight someone, I can't speak for anybody up here but myself. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to tackle the hard stuff and tell you straight. But whatever you say up here, some of the stuff is great, you have your opinions, but the facts have to remain. For me, what gets me fired up is the money. The whole idea of where's the money going, or someone fleecing money. I heard some artists. Ladies and gentlemen, the fact of the matter, you have your cell phone, please do it right where you're sitting. All the municipalities in Florida fall under Florida Statute 166.241. Which requires the bodies and the budget, that adopted budget, whatever you want to call it, to be balanced. Look it up right now, the youngster, look it up. And what does balance mean? It means the revenue that we take in, all of it, has to be accounted for by the appropriations, by the reserves, and by the expenditures. What do those fancy words mean? We take in $1 billion, we have to show it. There's more than one document that shows it. The budget book has hundreds of pages. The CAFR has hundreds of pages. It's there. We're going to do our best we can to make it user-friendly. But that's what I'm saying to you. So if anybody just looked at what I just said, looked up the actual facts, that's what my passion is, no matter how we have our interpretations, but that's what we're operating off of. That's why we pay them what they do. And if you set up conversation, if you have meetings with them, they can show you anything. That's why we continue to be awarded one of the best and financially responsible cities in this state. Look it up. If you're shaking your head, look it up. It's fascinating. Anyway, I just wanted to let you all know that. The money, we can do a better job, yes. But there is no fleecing of money. We'll have that. I would love to meet with you and have that conversation. I'm not a fighter, not at all. We're in this together. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other lights on, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. We have the reports, and we will go with Councilmember Long to start with.
No report.
Councilmember Steinke.
Thank you, Mayor. On the 11th of December, I attended our Lee County Tourist Development Council meeting. On the 12th of December, I was at our municipal planning organization's meeting. On the 16th of December, I attended the pre-session regional luncheon with our state representatives before they went off to session. On the 16th of December, I attended the Open Stone opening down in downtown in District 1. That was a fabulous event, great new addition to our area. The 20th of December, attended the Holiday Boat Along as a participant. Actually went out with the folks in our boat out there with them in the basin, and it was a fabulous evening. Hats off to staff for putting together a fabulous event, great preparation, and great involvement with the community during it. On New Year's Eve, 31st December, I attended our third annual New Year's Eve celebration. It was awesome. Got to address the crowd. An amazing crowd there. I don't know if we actually have a way of telling exactly how many people were there, but we had to set a record. It was absolutely packed. And again, city staff, fire, police, everyone felt comfortable there. It was a tremendous testament to our city coming out and enjoying the community in which we live. And that does it for me. Thanks.
Okay, Councilmember Donnell.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to say to everybody out there, Happy New Year. As you know, schools are back in session, so you see your kids now with the long face. Get up, we're back at it. FSW started, FGU started. So I'm looking for a great year. The council, I'm looking for a great year. We're going to do good things here as a council in the city today, working together. So again, Happy New Year. Looking forward to the year. Let's go, as the kids would say. That's all.
Thank you. Councilmember Kadook.
Thank you, Mayor. On December 12th, I attended the MPO meeting, Metropolitan Planning Organization. And then also in the future, I do plan on attending our Florida League of Cities Legislative Action Days in Tallahassee, January 25th through 28th. So I'm looking for council approval on that, as well as on January 30th, it's a Friday, I will be a passenger traveling in a vehicle, and it's our second day of our winter budget workshop. So I'm asking if I can attend that via phone. I don't think I will be able to via a computer because I'll be in a vehicle. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Councilmember Kilray.
Yeah, December 12th, I also attended to the MPO. On December 22nd, I attended the retirement of the city administrative assistant Cheryl. Great turnout for them. What a great service to the city. December 31st, along with Councilmember Stanky and the mayor attended the early ball drop. They wanted to put me to bed early, so I had to go to the 8 o'clock one. And again, staff did a wonderful job. Todd was unbelievable there. That guy has more energy than all. I think we have to rank him with Trump for energy level. January 2nd, also went to retirement of Commander Burgoyne, and again, 25 years and probably the owner of the dispatch. She really developed that system really well. January 5th, Lee Health Urgent Care South, attended along with Councilmember Lehman and Mayor. Mayor did an excellent presentation on the health investment in the city and Lee Health's contribution to it. January 6th, met with the contractor with city manager, and he had a problem in placing generators based on the land use code right now. And the restrictions on the front of the building require a concrete wall. I'd like to get a second, maybe bring forth in a cow to talk about the opportunity to maybe look at the back of the house with lesser buffering. He had made a representation in that a way of doing it that made a lot of sense, and I'd just like to maybe have that buffer if I could get a second to talk about that. So,
I'll give you that.
okay, thank you. And that's about it. With one exception, I was in Cancun And this is to appeal to the residents who think that we're scarfing money. But I went from the 13th to the 20th, and I'd like to express my appreciation to all the contractors who contributed to that visit. They financed it for me, and I appreciate it. I'm only kidding. But thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Laster, report.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to give a quick update. So our youth council, we're $1,000 away from hitting our goal. Thank you to Mayor and Teresa Gunter for donating $300 the night of the boat along. The kids were so appreciative. But we have $1,000 more to go. I also wanted to state that we have an upcoming movie night in the park, which is going to be February 13th, Friday the 13th, before Valentine's Day. So if y'all want a Friday the 13th Valentine's Day date, come hang out with all of us at the park. We'll be watching Clueless. The movie will start at 7 p.m. We'll have food trucks. We'll have some popcorn for sale. So please come out and support this amazing group of children. I will also be attending Florida League of Cities Tallahassee, as Councilmember Kaduke mentioned. And then also I will be attending National League of Cities from March 13th through the 19th, if you all agree and approve. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Lehman. Okay, mine quickly. On December 11th and 12th, I attended Florida League of Cities Municipal Insurance Trust meeting in Palm Coast, Florida. On 12/13, I attended the Cape Coral Fire Department Foster Kids Breakfast in Santa. Great to see a lot of families out there at the firehouse and serve breakfast. I know Councilmember Lehman was there serving pancakes. So that was a good event. Attended the Reese Across America. That was another great event. And I was also a guest speaker at the menorah lighting here at the Jewish Center down on Cape Coral Parkway. Also attended the Oak and Stone ribbon cutting event. That was another great event that night. And on 12/18, attended the new ribbon cutting of Coral Charm Nail Salon here in Cape Coral. It definitely wowed you when you walked through the door. So nice to see a nice new business opening up in our city. On 12/19, attended the employee holiday luncheon we had here at City Hall. 12/20, attended the holiday boat along and kicked that particular event off. 12/22, I participated in the Morning with the Mayor with the Ed Ryan Show, Cape Coral Talk Radio. 12/31, I did the New Year's Eve ball drop downtown Cape Coral. Again, great to see a lot of families out that night, and very well attended event, and very great music. Todd King, our event coordinator, he did an exceptional job down there, so hats off to him and his crew. And also did another ribbon cutting on January 5th, attended the Lee Health Convenient Care Center in downtown South Cape. Another great facility opening up in our community to provide additional healthcare services to our community. That's all I have. Mr. City Attorney, any report?
Nothing. Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to, I didn't have any announcements, but I did want to bring my high five highlight to the table tonight. And so I just want to announce, and I know you all have received the email, our community has been awarded an ISO Public Protection Classification rating of 2, which is considered excellent. The new rating places our city among a relatively small percentage of communities nationwide that achieve the highest level of recognized fire protection. And there are only 103 other fire departments in the country that can claim having an ISO Public Protection Classification of 2 and an accreditation status. Goes out to great work of our fire department, but it extends well beyond them into maintaining fire hydrants, keeping their fleet and their facilities up, the support that council has in funding training and continued growth in advancing new firehouses and new equipment. It is a community award that our staff has worked very hard on, but you all support. It starts from the top down. We are 1 in 103 with a ISO rating of 2 and an accredited fire department. So